An ancient Chinese proverb once said, every Pokemon is someone's favourite. There's no wrong answer. This extends to the games themselves, and it's usually indicative of age. Well, time to show how old I am, because like the title says, I think the best mainline Pokemon game is none other than Pokemon Emerald. And keyword being mainline, because even though I think most of the spin-offs are great, there is one that towers above the rest, and probably would take my top spot as the best game in the whole franchise. But that's for another video. Like every other Pokemon fan soon to enter their 30s, when I was a small child, I had a Game Boy bestowed to me for Christmas, and the first thing I wanted to do was play the games of the cartoon I watched every morning before school. Whilst I played the first and second gen, I was a little too young to fully remember them, and my original playthroughs remain a fragmented cluster of memories. For some reason, one of my earliest conscious memories is of Goldenrod Basement with a Mantine and Electrode. I don't know why either, but don't worry, I've played them many times since. But once 2005 came around, I was young enough to forget completing Pokemon Sapphire, and old enough to fully appreciate what Emerald had to offer. The recent replay I did for this video really unlocked the best memories I had of being an 8-year-old. Everything I did transported me back to being younger. The visuals, the audio, right down to the sound effects and Pokemon cries. All 3 starters are viable. Going back to the ancient Chinese proverb to choose my starter, Mudkip, it's Mudkip. Comment what your favourite Pokemon and Pokemon game is. Hopefully one day the Pokédex can be filled in the comments and prove the proverb right. One of the best things about playing this game when I was younger was that I had no interest in things like stab, EVs and IVs, or even status moves. All I wanted was pure, unfiltered, unlimited power. Brute forcing battles with my completely over-leveled starter, and when that didn't work, in come the second-rate team of low-level Pokemon I captured to be my revive fodder. It was such a nice feeling seeing your team grow as you ventured through Hoenn, using Pokemon you thought looked cool instead of seeing what the meta was or what had the highest base values, only swapping them out for legendaries, except your HM slave of course. And who can forget trying to find another copy of a wild Pokemon because you accidentally KO'd the first? Time felt dilated. Each route felt like they would take hours to fully explore, when in reality it would have only realistically been 15 to 20 minutes. Though I think most of that can be attributed to how painfully slow the game is without a speed up button modern emulators have. But back then it didn't matter. Farming endlessly until 5 of your party had fainted, to run back to the Pokemon Center to heal them, rinsing and repeating for the whole evening after school, so you can gain half a dozen levels to beat May under the bridge on Route 110. And that's what made the game so impactful as a kid. You had no thoughts about rushing through the game. As slow as it was, the game felt progressive. Every gym battle felt hard earned, and every rival battle felt extremely satisfying to win. Traversing a good chunk of the region and then getting Surf felt revolutionary. Being able to explore all of these bodies of water I've been running past for extra areas or hidden goodies really fleshed out the map and made it really fun to re-explore all of the towns and routes I'd already been to. I would have loved to do a section on the soundtrack, because that was as core to unlocking my memories as much as the rest of the game, but honestly, I'm scared of any reason to feel that Nintendo banhammer. So I'll just say it had the best soundtrack, and a quick YouTube search will lead you to braver men than me that have uploaded it. So give it a listen and let it regress you back into your childhood. Game Freak really doubled down with fleshing out Team Aqua and Magma, making Archie and Maxie have genuine motives for awakening the legendary Pokemon, and making them look pretty cool while doing it. Pokemon contests were an interesting way to break up the game, even though I never sacrificed powerful moves for ones that would have been deemed best in slot for the contests. It never deterred me from trying to get as many ribbons as possible for my starter. Secret bases were one of the coolest additions to Gen 3 too, trying to find posters, mats and plushies on my adventure to pimp out my base, so I could show my school friends at sleepovers my virtual hideout. And all of this without guides. There were no YouTube tutorials explaining the meta, no live streamers to copy builds from, text walkthroughs were few and far between, and I was far too young to navigate the internet to find them. It was just you, your friends, and any word of mouth circulating rumours that sounded downright absurd, like having a Whale Lord first and Relicanth last. that there's a super rare island you can only get to once a year, and who could forget Mew under the truck? I haven't even touched on Pokemon designs yet, and why they are some of the best in the franchise. The look and feel of Gen 3 Pokemon in general are pretty badass. The starters are all great in every stage of their evolution. Your token bird and first root animal are cool. Just give your Zigzagoon an Everstone. Sorry Linoon. Legendaries are all iconic. There's a whole cohort of interestingly designed Pokemon, and the only ones I can really think I didn't click with were the fossil Pokemon. Sprinkle two of the best pseudo legendaries into the mix, and you have a generational Pokédex only ever rivaled by Gen 1. But the biggest and by far the best thing they've ever added to a mainline Pokemon game. The amount of content here was unparalleled to anything I had played as a child. 7 vastly different facilities, boasting different ways to battle. Even though I tried each facility a few times, there was only one that stuck with me. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The Battle Factory, Emerald's own Rentamon. This is easily the single best addition to a Pokemon game to date, and I will gladly die on that hill, because I don't know if they will ever top it. Being able to borrow dozens and dozens of randomly selected Pokemon to use with the optimized or cheesy builds was some of the most memorable moments I ever had on my Game Boy, spending countless days trying to get the gold symbol from Noland. Some games never leave you. Some games can define points of your life. Some games can encapsulate your childhood. Luckily for me, Pokemon Emerald filled all of these boxes. So thank you to every single person who contributed to any inch of Pokemon Emerald, for giving me a way to step back in time and vividly re-experience one of the key contributions to what made me fall in love with games.